Hello, I'm Mike of the Dice. This is the Kerbal Space Program. Okay, uh, Eve mission. What I'm trying to do now is I'm wanting to land this lander. Just quickly checking its electric charge. Oh, it's running out of electric charge. Turn off SES for a second. Oh, I can't turn off SES because I am fast forwarding. Right, let's just move things around so that we can see the sun. Now, okay, so the plan for this creature is to go into the atmosphere of Eve and thus aerobrake and land. Right, SS is off. So as you can see, there's a rover on top. With a materials bay, computer core, a scientific instrument panel, various other bits and pieces. And it is attached, you can't quite see this, but it's attached to a heat shield. Right, so that there is a heat shield, which is attached by this decoupler. So I'm going to have to wait for a little bit for the electric charge to build up. But in about 28 minutes game time, which obviously I'm rapidly approaching because I'm fast forwarding, we are going to enter the atmosphere. It's a bit later than that, actually. I need to decide exactly when I want to ditch the rest of the craft. The actual periapsis is in 28 minutes. I put in an alarm clock slightly earlier than that. I was hoping to land on land and not land in the ocean. That kind of looks like what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be landing in the ocean. Right, let's do some science. I'm not going to do mystery goo, but I'll do the others. Did that? Oh, there it goes, transmitting away. Eating up my battery. Oh, good lord, look at that. Gravity scanned from space just above Eve's explodium sea. Now I'm looking at Eve's. Difficult because obviously nighttime and daytime. But it looks like I really wanted to land on this side and not the other side because that's made up of explodium. I'm going to land in this. Probably means I'm going to land in the explodium sea. But I don't really have a huge amount of control at this point. This is just where the planet was pointing. I'll get some science from that. I may have to wait for a bit for the next one to wait for the power to bring back to go back up. 1021 science. So I can now do another of the probably the last of the top level. One of the two top level. I've got two top level things to do in science. So I really don't want to land on the ocean, but I don't think I've got any option. It depends how quickly. If I stop really quickly, I might land on that bit. Because I'll be hitting the atmosphere before this point. That's 64. In fact, I'm going to be hitting the atmosphere. No, I've got a little while. But I'm probably going to be hitting the atmosphere somewhere around here, so I could land anywhere. I could land there or there or there. I should really get the trajectories mod. That's a mod that is explicitly for finding stuff out like this. So the idea is what I would like to be able to do is get to more than one biome while I'm, you know, roving, and thus get more science. Right, so we'll take that away. We don't need the Kerbal alarm clock right now. It's not going to help us anymore. Let us point retrograde. I think the last thing I can do usefully is just keep pointing this thing retrograde. Turn that on briefly. Just keep pointing retrograde. When I hit, well, I'm going to open up a terminal because I can use that to quickly get rid of my solar panels, bring them in, because I don't want them to be extended when I'm hitting atmosphere. Now I've got until 90k before that happens. But I want them out for the moment because I want to fill up my battery as much as possible. Because I'll probably still want to do some maneuver. Well, I'll be able to do some maneuvering because there are reaction wheels on this. I think battery. Maybe there aren't actually. There's some on the core that is running this. If I can find that. Oh, that's the core. The square thing there is the body of the thing. That's the reaction wheel module. Yeah, okay, and then there's a okay. That's the reaction wheels. Let's just turn that off for a second just to increase the battery recharge. Oh, I'm getting very close. So I may just have to accept that much. Oh, it would help if I put the period at the end there. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want? Well, keep the data for now. We can transmit it all later. And we're not doing material study or mystery goo until we get onto the ground. Okay. That can go away. So let's look at the flight engineer. I don't need orbit or vessel. All I really need is heat. Now this can explode as much as it likes. I might want to try and use, well, for all the good it'll do me, the last 300 or so delta V. But given how quick my how fast my velocity is anyway, that's knocking 300 off that's not huge. Maybe I wanted to be, well, I didn't have the delta V to be more gentle. Because I came from quite high out, which means that my speed coming in is going to be quite high. What do I want? I want vessel. So I've got a few more seconds of that. And I don't know whether I want to use that as essentially ablative armor. Oh, that may have been a mistake. And notice a whole bunch of components suddenly displayed temperature readings. And I've still got the thing attached to me. Oh well. Wow, I'm actually using my ablator. I'm using my ablator quite quickly. What are my G-forces? I'll probably need surface for G-forces. Got rid of a whole bunch of readouts and then put them back in again. Okay, the critical part's not that bad still. I've got a lot of velocity to bleed off. What did I want? I want to look at my G-forces, but I can't remember. There they are. Wow, look at that. Pulling, oh, G-forces are just going up. Up and up and up and up and up. Oh, actually they're coming down. Right, we're currently over Explodium C. I would really like to land on ground if at all possible. But I'm not sure how much control, if any, I have over that. Still, heat's looking okay. Still got a fair amount of ablator left. I've got temperature gauges, but that's not... They're still green, so I'm feeling okay. I still have all this ship attached to me. I've gone down from Mach 19 to Mach 13. Beginning to stray a little off course. Off prograde, off retrograde. I've never done this on Eve before. I've no idea what's going to happen. I just want to land on land. That's all I want. But I've not got. I mean, over that way seems to be lots of Explodium Sea. But this is all just. I mean, this bit here is mostly islands and stuff. So I'm still going over mostly land, but there's a lot of sea. So there's a lot of sea, and then I mean, there's lots of land over this side, but you can't see it because it's in the day. It's in the night time. And I've just realised I'm quite luckily. You can see that coming in. Yeah. Luckily, this is at daytime. It could well have been at night time, because I really didn't have any control over when I ended up here, because I just didn't have the Delta V available to do that. Merely Mach 10 now, under Mach 10. So I'm basically going about half as fast as I was when I first started this, which is pretty neat. Aerodynamic forces are largely keeping me where I want to be. Let's see where our impact. So you can see this is our impact kind of, and that's kind of gradually coming in. I largely suspect I'm going to land in the ocean. The odds are Explodium Sea, which is a bit aggravating, but there you go. Assuming the parachutes work, which I've never parachuted into Eve before, so I've no idea. Assuming the parachutes work, everything's going to be fine. that attached to? Alright, merely Mach 7 now. Temperature still holding. Okay, this is working just fine thus far. I may just be saying that until everything explodes, so. This is at the same time really terrifying and kind of tedious, because this is just going to keep going. I don't know what that decoupler is attached to. So I've got my parachutes, and there's a decoupler in there somewhere. Oh, it's there, okay. That's presumably the one, oh okay, that's the one that's keeping me attached to the reaction wheels. Alright. So when it's obviously set up, so it's set up so I abandon the heat shield. And, I think I'm beginning to come out of the heat shock. I abandon the heat shield and put on the parachutes at the same time. Have we come through this? The heat shock effect, I think, is slowing down. I'm hearing it. It's the nature of the noise has changed. Only Mach 4.7. Mere 950 meters per second. 1900 miles an hour. Soon going to be passing a mere 1600 miles an hour. Oh, might land on that island. Going to depend on a great many things. Might land on that. I think there's a good chance I'll land on that island. That would make me quite happy. Okay, now it is time to just keep right click on the parachutes and just keep that safe to deploy. I'm just kind of curious. I mean, obviously I'm still seeing fire. It is not safe, but now is the time to kind of have that up and start thinking about it, because the fire is, well, having said that, I immediately get rid of it. The fire is now beginning to die out, so we're beginning to just go into just ordinary boring Mach effects. So I'll find the parachute again. So obviously it is still unsafe, which is fair enough. Will probably still be the same. It should be the same as always. It's down to 200-ish meters a second, and that's when it's going to be safe. Risky. Still over the sea. I want to not be over the sea. So I'm probably going to leave this a fair while and hope that I get I just managed to drift over. Oh yeah, not feeling too confident actually. So I'm currently pointing towards that, but my trajectory is going to be doing this. So if I keep pointing the camera, so I'm not going to land on that. My best chance was that. So I'm not going to land on the land. That's very disappointing. Well, there's nothing I can do about it, so... Going to see if I can use the reaction wheels to separate from... no, I seem to be stuck to it. I did deploy that, yeah? Kind of want to get rid of all this lot, but specifically all this lot. As far as I'm aware, that is no longer attached to me, but I don't seem to be able to let it go. I'm still kind of desperately hoping against hope that I will somehow end up landing more over well, my speed's actually picking up, which is, I suppose, reasonable. Is it going up or is it going down? No, it's still going down. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to start deciding when I want to chuck my parachutes. Just going to land in the sea. That's very disappointing. Yeah. Let's fast forward a little bit. Probably shouldn't have done that because there's all sorts of odd things going on here that I should be cautious of. That coastline is just getting closer and closer and closer, and it is taunting me because I don't think I'm going to reach it. Or am I? Am I going to reach that coastline? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. Still says I'm over the explodium sea. I don't think I am anymore. Where's the impact? Oh, I am explodium sea still. So I think I'm over land now. I also think it's time to pop the parachutes. So goodbye back end, you did well. And here's hoping that I've set the parachute settings reasonably, because they're going to go at 1,000 meters, which is what you'd normally do for Kerbin, but this ain't Kerbin. So those bits are falling and falling and falling and falling. Right, I need to keep track of my altitude. So although I believe it is no longer a huge, hideous problem to to be fast forwarding while doing time warp while you go through the parachutes opening. I still don't want to do it just in case. It's still saying Explodium C, so unless this stuff is Explodium C, but I don't think so. I think that's the Explodium C, so I don't know why it says my biome is something is saying C, unless this island counts as C, even though it's clearly, you know, full of rock. Oh, look at that! My surface speed is really low. So parachutes are mysteriously very, very good. I could have just done with the one of them. That's fine. So I'm definitely going to be fast forwarding because it's going to take forever to land at this rate. At 4 miles an hour, maybe 5. Not quite sure what that explosion was. Presumably some bit of the debris. Okay, it looks like we have made it. We have made it. Not well. I got into a biome, and I'll be able to do landed science here. So that's cool. And we're just going to be landing. I can put my panels out and do science. Do all the science. Okay, so I've got another 450 plus meters to go at slightly over 2 meters a second, so this is going to take a while. Landings always tend to make long episodes because there's just a long period where things might happen, but they very often don't. So that's always a bit of a worry. I'll see if I can go have a look at the bits. Impact time, 6 seconds. I think the impact time is not actually working out correctly. Because it's certainly going down slower than I really would have thought. 215 days this mission's been going. Oh, it's quite slopey. 12 degrees of slope. Ooh. It slopes right into the water, so I might, like, despite landing... right, I'm going to turn on SAS. I'm going to remain as upright as possible. There are all these modifications I was going to make to this thing to make it cope with slopes better, and I forgot to do any of them. Right, right, can I see my shadow? Can I see my shadow? There's my shadow. Okay, touchdown is about to happen. Touchdown possibly followed by rolling into the ocean. I do have SAS on to try and keep me as upright as possible. I'm going to put the brakes on. I'm going to put the brakes on permanently. Touchdown! Touchdown! We have touched down on Eve. So take the brakes off. Turn SAS off. Yeah, if I'm not careful, if I don't have the brakes on, I will just fall into the ocean. So as long as I have the brakes on, everything is fine. So there you go. I'm going to put the panels on. Because I'm going to want to charge up the battery. Ooh, that's a thing. Right, let's get rid of that. Land on Eve complete. 75,000 Kerbal bucks. Now, if I'll just do it from here. Well, that's interesting. If I do a seismic scan from Explodium C, a strange co-infected parent, it could be a sign of underground cavities buried deep beneath the surface. So if I transmit that, and have a quick check of the electric charge, possibly should have waited. No, I'm fine. That's 72 science added. So now, transmit or recover scientific data from the surface of Eve, 37,000 Kerbal bucks, done. And explore Eve. You have successfully explored Eve, 375,000 Kerbal bucks, and 18 reputation. So there you go. That's that mission done. I've now explored Eve. So on that victorious note, I'm going to say thanks so much for watching. I'm going to turn off SAS. Oh, I'm using electric power. Something rotten. Eek, what's using power? I'm going to run out of power soon. There we go. I'm now not using power. I suspect it's the brakes actually. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe if you've been enjoying these videos. I'm going to keep that data. Feel free to come visit neilfdice.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us there. And until next time, reach for the stars.